Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Omar Sabek, founder and CEO of Sasco Digital Assets, to discuss its mission to educate regular investors about Bitcoin and other digital assets. Omar, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thank you, Jill. It's great to be here.
And Omar, why are investors increasingly interested in Bitcoin?
So investors are looking at Bitcoin. It's been around for 12 years. It's been incredibly stable. And I think investors have been seeing it for a long time and just wondering, what is this asset going to be doing? And very recently, we saw a run up in the price of the asset up to 65,000. We saw a correction. I think we're in a mid-cycle correction. So I think investors right now, they've been watching this history of Bitcoin. They've been seeing it continuing to operate stably. They saw that it operated very stably after China banned mining, and so it passed a stress test. And I think investors right now are looking at it with a renewed sense of confidence and considering how they can use it to, be part of their portfolio.
Considering it's a relatively volatile asset class, what if you want to invest, but you don't know where to start?
I recommend that people take two approaches. Number one is they educate themselves on how Bitcoin works technically. And I think the best way to do that is to make a tiny investment. Some exchanges you can sign up for and put it as little down as $10 to buy some Bitcoin. So at least you hold it and you can see how it works. You might spend a little bit of it, send it to yourself, send it to others, and just get familiar with it. And then on the other, in parallel, on the other side, on the education front, is understanding monetary history and understanding Bitcoin in the context of technology, the history of money, understanding how Bitcoin reacts to central bank easing and low interest rates, how it responds to inflation, and develop a thesis around how Bitcoin might perform, with these types of narratives.
Why is education the key to investing in Bitcoin?
There's risks involved in investing in Bitcoin. There's, security risks. How do I protect myself from hacks? How do I protect myself from losing the Bitcoin, holding keys, custody issues? So understanding those risks are critically important, because at the end of the day, you really have to protect yourself if you're investing in not only Bitcoin, but in any digital asset. And it all comes down to education. So it's technical education. It's also I believe, just as important is an education in monetary policies and in monetary history, so you can understand where Bitcoin fits in the broad arc of history, which I think is, I think Bitcoin personally is it's the future. It's the base layer of value on the internet. It's money over IP. It's the decentralization of money from central banking, and understanding it in that context, I think, gives people the long-term confidence to hold it for, longer than they ordinarily would have if they're seeing it as a, kind of quick in and out kind of asset class.
Right. And I think it's a great point that you bring up in terms of investor education, and not just for digital assets, but I think for investing in general. So thank you for bringing that up. Omar, what sets Sasco Digital Assets apart from other offerings?
So we put our clients first. We partner with our clients. We want to understand what their goals and objectives are, and we help them with education, custody solutions, technical understanding, really anything that they need to be successful in their investment and in their strategies. So we're not a fund. We don't take any money directly. We provide a service. We provide an educational service, and we provide consulting as it relates to holding, storing Bitcoin, buying Bitcoin, how to do it safely, how to do it securely. So we're really delivering a service to our clients.
How are you managing client expectations during this recent bout of volatility? Is this for everyone?
I believe it's for everyone, as long as they have the understanding and they have a long-term view on investing. I tell people that no one has ever invested in Bitcoin for more than 3.5 years and lost, their initial capital investment. So understanding the volatility and zooming out, taking a broad view of how it performs over long periods of time, I think is critical. But also understanding the cycles. These bull and bear markets in Bitcoin correspond with the halving events. Understanding what the halving event is and what the impact that it has on price, I think, is critically important. I see Bitcoin as an agnostic tool that anyone can use to achieve whatever objectives they have. as long as they understand, how the cycles work, why certain things happen with price when they happen. And the other great thing about Bitcoin is that it's a completely open and transparent blockchain. So we can look at the transaction data and we can look at the price history and we can identify patterns and trends that could guide, how we allocate into the investment. So there's a couple of real, key attributes of Bitcoin that set it apart from virtually every other asset class.
And Omar, in the last minute here, what's your general outlook for Bitcoin, the crypto space in general?
I see, short term, I believe we will see, price appreciation from here. I think we've kind of bottomed out. We may go a little lower. We may spike down. I think midterm, we're going to see, I don't think we're out of the bull cycle. So I think we're going to see institutional money come back in near the end of the summer. It looks very similar to 2013, where we had kind of a double top in the cycle. And the on-chain data kind of indicates that, a lot of Bitcoin right now is moving from short-term holders to more convicted long-term holders that are accumulating this Bitcoin and taking that supply off the exchanges. So with increased volume, increased demand, we should see, the price recover to potentially the all-time highs that we saw earlier this year.
All right, Omar, appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thank you, Jill.